Mr. Shapiro.
Well, good morning, good sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Pleasant evening.
Before I get to, obviously, you have some general info on what happened with Antifa. What was the show like? What would you say the vibe was like here compared to Berkeley?
Well, I mean, I think there was less fear among the students. I mean, people were pumped in the room. Mm-hmm. At Berkeley, because there was such a buildup, there was a lot of fear that there was going to be violence outside. I think there was fear that there was going to be violence outside for sure. But you guys obviously got the brunt of it. I think you may have inoculated Antifa. Yeah. Actually, it sounds like. But it's people were enthused. People were pumped up that the event was taking place.
Do you see this? He's holding a handheld to just hold it like a fake tripod. Get moving. Get the MTV camera going. What's the deal with Not Gay Jared? That's the whole purpose, is to move. Don't just have the same shot of the camera.
I can't believe that you're ripping on the hero of our story here.
Well, he's still an employee.
That's true.
So it was funny. We were all kind of surprised with the Utah.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like when I was hearing from you what was going on, kind of behind the scenes, yeah. I was thinking, like, if I die in Utah, that's going to be weird. Like, yeah. if I get stabbed to death in Utah, yeah. Like, really, Utah?
And what if he happens to be a Mormon? Then you can never...
then I've made this joke on Twitter so many times. Whenever there's an Islamic terror attack, I tweet something like, the damn Mormons. And if I actually was stabbed to death in Utah, that would be somewhat ironic, actually.
Well, there's that one time in Utah, you'd have to be like, okay, hold on. There's an asterisk here. Yes, Utah. It was former LDS, but...
I mean, I opened the speech saying this is the only state in the union where I speak here, and I'm the least clean-cut person in the room.
They are very well. Did it make you nervous? Because it looks like they're straight from a page of Hitler Youth here. They're all tall and blonde.
A lot of handsome people.
A lot of handsome. Because the Mormons clean living. Oh yeah, that's just the reality. Yeah, I was in Provo one time, and I remember just going like, "This looks like an Abercrombie convention." Everyone was good looking.
This is really funny. So the folks at ABC News, they were asking me, like, did it make you uncomfortable, saying all the things that you say in front of this largely white audience? And I was like, no. Why? I'm confused. It's like, I say this in front of largely not white audiences also, but that's the way a lot of these folks think, unfortunately.
They look out and it's like they just see a color palette. Yep. And what's crazy is with Antifa, too, we kind of realized this. Here, I'll let you read through these. This is their cryptic app and their text, so you can read through it, but I'll just kind of tell you. We realized, Will. We know everything about Will, by the way. Everything about him. This Firebird, Xevious, Will. It's like, Will, just put some effort into this.
Yeah. Your code name will be Bob.
Yes. Your code name will be Steven Crowder. I love to.
And then I wonder, and then you wonder how Not Gay Jared was able to infiltrate these geniuses.
But here's the thing: how was he able to do this in not a single news agency?
This is a great question.
Not one, and not one. When we showed them the footage, the cops were there. They said, "Hey, we're working." Like, what do you mean you're working on news? Yeah, I know.
Also, whoever has my knife, don't lose that. What in the world?
She threatened to call the cops. You were passing out knives.
This is my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, that's for those. We'll have an overlay of that.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, and they still don't get it.
Yeah, that's
like, what is this? What is this? Oh, Steven Crowder. We're gonna. I don't know. I don't want to get doxxed. Bye.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know.
That's incredible.
But it is.
You guys did more undercover journalistic work than any of these major outlets. I mean, they've been writing about Antifa from this 30,000-foot view. Like, who are these people? It's a big mystery. And you guys just kind of walked in the front door.
What are they fighting against?
Right.
And here's the thing. We thought, okay, are they just using this as an excuse, for violence? Or I think, unfortunately, and it brings all different kinds of people. They're so delusional. They think they're out there genuinely oppressed, and they're out there fighting like Nazis, and they think you're a white supremacist.
Right, so this is what I was confused about, and I was wondering about, like, do they even know who I am? Because my theory was that they have no clue who I am, and that they're just finding whoever is the most prominent right-wing speaker on campus to make trouble for.
No, they genuinely, I don't know so much about you specifically, but they genuinely believe that conservatives, basically anyone who disagrees with them, is a white supremacist.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what I figured, because I'm not arrogant enough to think these people are like online watching Thug Life videos, Like,
right. No, but I thought maybe they just said it as like, hey, if we label them a white supremacist, I thought there was a possibility that let's label them a Nazi, kind of like the left proactively just said racist, even if they didn't really believe it. I think the difference is here with these activists, they actually they're deluded enough they believe it.
That's a little scary.
It's scary because I think if you see this,
delusional people are scary people. I mean, when they have knives and such. I mean, that's when it starts getting
and sawed-off shotguns, which by the way are not legal anywhere.
That's wild. That's wild.
We were like concealed carry unless he's shoving it down like a pirate walking with a peg leg. Even then, it's not legal to saw off a shotgun.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you see this? getting more violent? Do you see it erupting, coming to a head? That's
I think
genuinely
you
our
also-
concern.
Yeah, I think that you are going to see some sort of incident where it gets violent at a speech like mine just because they're showing up. I mean, we've seen Antifa get violent before. Obviously, there was basically a red on brown beatdown in Sacramento, like August 2016.
Yeah.
Right. So that I wouldn't be shocked by. But I mean, you have this many unstable people looking to carry around weapons apparently at places like this. I think it's only a matter of time before somebody goes off and hurts somebody. And then the question is going to be, does the media cover it in the same way that they covered Charlottesville?
Yeah.
You know, when Antifa actually kills somebody, are they going to cover it like, okay, is this a mainstream problem on the left? Has the left done too much to embolden this movement?
I think it would take killing because they're pepper spraying. They've whacked people with weapons. They've knocked people out with bike locks. We have all this, on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
And the media doesn't care. The media's just like, well, they believe maybe their tactics are they're handing out ice picks and talking about sawed-off shotguns and luring people back to the cars.
Well, that's the part you're telling me about that I like, that they're giving Nakde Jarrett the knife and then the ice pick.
They give him several.
And then it's like they keep going back to the car and bringing it's like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. They go back to the car and they bring him a stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
And then they bring him the little bomb with the actual flaming wick on the end.
It's like a clown with a handkerchief of armaments. Just
it's like Mary Poppins bag.
No one was interested. When they say, hey, we're working, kid, I'm like, well, you work on news.
Right.
And
this seems more newsworthy than just a bunch of people standing around chanting outside one of my speeches.
That was their news. If you look at the local news, it's like, I'm talking about controversial speaker Ben. I'm going, hold on a second. They don't call Ben a controversial speaker. They call him a Nazi.
That's exactly right.
They don't say, hey, we're protesting. They spray paint, they chalk, punch a Nazi, and you can hear them saying you're a Nazi. None of that ever gets mentioned.
Well, I do love the tape of the woman saying the most dangerous person in America. It's like we have... You have them on tape handing out knives, and I'm the most dangerous guy in America. Like, really? I can barely use a butter knife. Like, I can't even butter my challah. Like, what are you even talking about here? So it is fully crazy.
Well, even with them, right away they'd be like, "This is racist." Like, he's the most dangerous person in America. Really? You think he's more dangerous than, I don't know, Mike Brown, Tookie Williams? How about the leaders of the Bloods and the Crips?
There are a lot of dangerous people in this country. I don't think I rank in the top 3.
Well,
maybe I'm number 4. It's like, I do love the pictures that they put on the posters of me where they find the most nasty-looking photo of me and then they darken it.
Yeah.
So I've got the evil, like, Hitlerian eyebrows.
Yeah.
Which is pretty spectacular. I'm going to have to put that in a big poster in our office.
And then they do a side-by-side of the DSM-5 and Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
They're like, when you talk about it is a we talk about gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
How it's classified as a disorder.
Right.
Now, no surprise, I see a shrink. I read these manuals. And he actually said it's DSM, right? DSM-5. He said DSM-4 is more accurate.
Manual. Yeah.
And DSM-3 is more accurate.
That's right.
They just
it's gotten less accurate. It's gotten more politicized over time, and you can see how it's changed over time. But it's incredible that these people find this stuff so Nazi-esque that they feel like they need to show up with knives. It was funny. Again, some of these members of the media who don't necessarily know anything about me because they don't watch any of my stuff,
or they don't like you,
or they don't like me. But some of them last night went to the speech and they walked out, and I talked to them afterward, and they're like, "Wait, they were protesting that? Like, really? That's what they were going crazy over?"
Yeah.
And that's what's so shocking about this to people, I think, is that it doesn't take somebody being a provocateur saying crazy stuff in order for these people to go off. They'll go off basically if you sneeze.
I know. Well, that's why I stopped doing after UMass, because people don't realize that video. I had walked out. I planned to do a 15-minute set.
Yeah.
And when you have Trigglypuff, she doesn't have enough middle fingers to give. I have never done that on stage, and we're running very little sleep, in case you can't tell. And I just said, I don't want to do this anymore, because my goal is not to be a provocateur on campus. My goal is to do stand-up. But now it's almost to the point where it's just a part of the program.
Yep.
We've talked about maybe getting back on the road, maybe doing some college shows. It'll just have to be different, because you can't just do stand-up. They're going to protest, so we'll have to know that they're there and address them, Q&A, and change the way we do it.
I think you should do your live podcast there. I think you should do the full live podcast in front of an audience. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be fun. Can you imagine just the monologue, just the jokes in the first 10 minutes? How pissed they would be?
It would be amazing. It'd be amazing.
We would just let it ride. The man who called himself MC Bulletproof was shot dead today, and before we even get to the punchline, they would be shrieking.
But what I think is amazing about what you guys did here is that, again, you committed an act of journalism, and that seems more and more uncommon. I remember I was doing an interview with somebody from, I think it's Columbia Journalism Review recently, and they were talking about what makes a journalist? And I said, well, you need to stop using the term journalist, and you need to start talking about who is actually committing acts of journalism.
Right.
Because it's not an act of journalism for you to sit in your office in New York and write your perspective on Antifa and having never done any of the actual groundwork.
Right.
You guys, what you did, some of the stuff James O'Keefe does, for example, these are acts of journalism. And it doesn't matter that you have a perspective. Journalism is journalism, and you did something that they weren't willing to do.
Well, I'd like to think it's something that Andrew, not the trademark, the name, would like something like this.
Andrew would have dug it. Andrew would have been so into this.
I just, it's like it's.
I've been missing him a lot lately.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like he'd be really at his best in this environment.
I think so. Yeah, particularly with Antifa and Black Lives Matter. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to get to this first. But we were surprised. Like we said, and one thing too, because Ben was sort of like the fly catcher, is that glow light, and we're like, well, we know they're going to be there for Ben, but I let everything was on the up and up. Like, Ben, we're doing this just so you know. Oh, they're handing out axe picks. Keep your head in a swivel. Then your security team like, does Ben need to have a Kevlar? I'm like, no, he's fine. They're gone now.
Yeah, you guys. I wish I had you guys always in my advanced team. We can send Nake Jared into all of these places.
Yeah.
I mean, having him infiltrate BLM might be a little tough, but
no.
Really?
Wouldn't be tough at all.
Well, Nake Jared, your next assignment.
Here's what you do. You slap a pair of tits on him, you call him an ally, they won't say anything. They're terrified. They will not question anyone who's got a gender identity disorder. Never. I still don't know who Firebird. Was it a male to female?
We don't know.
We still don't know.
Well, the mystery abides.
Ben Shapiro, The Ben Shapiro Show, dailywire.com. Terrible Tumblr, good show. And I'm glad you're safe. Where's your next live performance?
So we are doing University of Tennessee at the end of the month. So that should be another party, apparently. We'll see how that goes.
Buddy ran away. Things will get better.
Hey, if you like this video, subscribe by clicking the button that says subscribe. If you didn't like this video, you should subscribe anyway, because then you can watch the next video. And what you can do is downvote it and leave a comment that's really negative, particularly if it's something like, I don't know, maybe anti-Semitic, even though I'm not Jewish, or something about my hair, or something about my weird nose. Just leave a really negative comment so that everyone else around can act like they care.